One does need to be somewhat creative sometimes, but well, it works. One tennis off the map, Jesus Christ. It does feel a bit unbalanced though, doesn't it? But yeah, today I'm gonna play something that can be played relatively easily and relatively quickly, so it's an ideal little combination. Yeah, I was about to say, it sounds like something you would do precisely for cheesing purposes. Gosh, this game has 3 characters, and each one of them takes about, I'd say, roughly 10 hours to get through. So basically, yeah, that's pretty damn easy to get through. However, I do need to probably rearrange my windows a little bit in order to get this done. But this would be a great moment for me to go like, hey, I'll just let you sit here on the menu while I click outside the menu and do something, but this game really doesn't offer much in the way of options when it comes to the twin. It has a configuration tool, but even that is like, you're very limited in your options. And we wait for this to load again, and then, I'm gonna play this game. And since this game actually will allow me to talk a little bit on the side and ramble most profoundly, which is kinda what I like to do. It's a ease game. It's basically a snack game compared to Pelkin's other. Work, so to speak. Just as I was back in, I get a... So yeah, we are going to start with, well, probably her. I remember that I started with him on easy, and I played her on very easy, so I get those out of the way, and then I played him on normal. Just kinda wanted to go to normal, so this time we're gonna probably do one of the other difficulties, so... Let's see, that one is already clear. Okay, so this time you get easy, you probably get very easy, and you get... wait a second. You get normal? Oh, it doesn't matter, you know. Typically speaking, I would just go through the list, although I will probably never go harder than normal, considering. Yeah, let's play on easy. SP bonus acquisition, sure. Oh, I forgot. That language, that most profane of language you hear in the background, is French. The only ones who can speak it without sounding completely gay are women. One of the curses of that language. See? Really does only work with women.
Les dièses avaient un trésor précieux, la perle noire.
La perle noire.
Une sorte de pouvoir mystérieux.
Mysterious, eh?
Avec la magie.
How can one language be so fucking gay? It's amazing.
On pouvait amplifier ses pouvoirs magiques. Grâce à elle, on croyait que les pouvoirs de Is dureraient une éternité.
I'm pretty sure I've never heard a Dutch person go like, eternity. The last time I spoke with a Dutch person, they sounded, I don't know, like you would expect from a swarm German to sound. Yes, monstre démonique. I can feel my tongue getting mold on it. Just trying to speak it. Yeah, I said we want. I watched it. Actually, oh my little weebly heart is just kind of excited. Oh, I just realized I'm still wearing this shirt. God damn it. I wanted to actually wear my new shirt, but I picked apparently in my still somewhat just a broken state the other one. Meh, doesn't matter. Looks good enough.
Aussitôt
Yeah,
après
apart from the
ces
fucking
soulagements
color.
positifs, les
Doesn't
démons
sit
ont
right.
construit une autre tour. Et une nuée de monstres et sont partis.
Yes, because the monsters were smart. The monsters were like, they have an island in the sky. How do we reach the island? We'll build a tower. That's a pretty damn solid solution, I'd say. If the foundation is as solid as their solution, that is.
Imprévu arriva dans le temple de Salomon. Quelle histoire! Les dias jumelles, les descendantes de Is ont toutes disparu. Dans une situation désespérée, les 600 ont pris une résolution. Pour constituer une équipe de recherche, ils ont organisé une sélection parmi des chevaliers et des sorciers.
Et des sorciers.
Enfin, les 100, ils envahiront à la terre dévastée.
Still, it does make me smile somewhat. Look and play the Ys game again. Ys games. Fun games. Fun games indeed. Of course, it's not like I came unprepared. I spent a good few hours in this very early morning on, before the headache got worse. Hey, kitty. Making some thumbnail art for all of these series. Right. I was about to say, there was an intro there somewhere. And then once we get started, because a lot of this is actually gameplay and not so much story. I'll have enough time to explain to you all about this particular little series. And why this is actually chronologically speaking the right point to start, but not so much serious. Really wants to play these 1 and 2 again. Bump System Combat. Tasty. Very tasty. And of course, it's not really a Ys game if you don't have Adol and Dogi doing Adol and Dogi shit. Adol Pristine. Probably the greatest adventurer of them all. The guy has found and acquired more magical shit than anyone else, and he's also the person who lost most magical shit in the world. Like, to the point where it actually gets to be a joke. I think in Monstrum Nox in the beginning, when you get into trouble, they're like, okay, so you acquired this totally awesome equipment and you lost it. Again and again and again. You acquired magic powers and you lost it again and again. Which is precisely what has happened. Right, this is actually the reason why we get somewhat distracted from our initial search efforts. We can basically get blown into every direction. Because demons, they don't like the idea of you landing there. Right, little Unica cannot use any magic. Which really doesn't matter because she has a giant fucking axe. Given half a choice, it's not a bad alternative, huh? Also, to be fair, there's one thing I can immediately tell you, and that is that these games, at least, to Breath of Fire, especially the earlier entries, has a lot better of a translation than, well, oh boy. Old Game Boy Advance translations. Oh, they fuck with you. They do horrible things to you. Well, little lady, you're on the ground. Rather obviously. Considering that you fell from quite high, if your butt hurts only a little bit, that's probably good. Yes, indeed, something hit you. We quite literally saw it in the intro. Some demon tentacles were quite busily hitting your little ball of light. And the fact that you can actually potentially use that as an euphemism, what I just said, also makes it all the better. Ah, is that the great Rhoda tree? It is indeed. The tree is awake, and it speaks to you. Ah, it's great. Oh god, shit, I should never start playing these games, I forgot, because that means at some point in the future I would have to play the Ark of Napi or something. I don't know. One PlayStation 2 era game that... Oh boy. It's not long, mind you. It's really not long. Oh boy, is it persistent at being annoying. Oh well. Purely chronologically speaking, it's still a bit of time before we had to go there. And don't worry, I'll give you the nice little Reader's Digest version of the story once we are actually playing. It shouldn't actually take that long. Excuse me. That girl has a very optimistic approach to things. I was like, well, yeah, that is that, but hey, now it's my time to show it. Like, okay, if you say so. Yes, indeed, we seek something from this ruined land. 2 things, actually. Well, 3 things, to be very precise. Because the ladies Rhea and Fina have disappeared on us. Yes, because the demons are fucking realists. They were like, okay, we're just gonna build a fucking high tower. They escape to the skies, we'll just climb after them, literally. Yeah. Fair point, tree, fair point indeed. Little Rhoda tree. Indeed, the whole search party is, well, using the obvious landmark to try to convene again. Oh god, no, the tree falls silent. These origins actually make a pretty damn makes a pretty damn fine entry into the series. Simple and following the usual structure. I think it has a lot less focus on storytelling and more of a story on actually gameplay. Very different from the Legend of Heroes series, which would be Falcom's other, well, flagship, to put it pretty directly. I mean, literally, that's, yeah. If I think Falcom, there are two things that come to mind. It's Ys and it's Legend of Heroes, and that's basically it. I think most people would most definitively agree to that much. I hear combat, which means I need to now remember how to actually play this. I do like that the priest immediately goes like, well, if I have to take up arms, I will take up arms. And you have the stuff. You all are supposed to have magic. Now then, time for some demon slaying. As I said, now I need to remember how to play the game. Which shouldn't be that hard, there are not really that many buttons if memory serves. Yeah, don't give me the fucking keyboard controls. I'm not gonna use the fucking Z key to attack, nor the X key to jump. Let's see. Attack, jump. What more do I need to know? And now, reinforcements. I'm so scared. Boost mode. That button isn't it? Yes. I shall boost most profoundly. I don't think I have magic yet, do I? Give me your coins. Oh yeah. No double jumping. Yes, I've done this pretty damn nicely, haven't I? So you're cleared. God fucking damn it, they really do make it nice. If I could, and I'll be fucking honest with you, if I could get the fucking license for that, I'd be stealing, borrowing and begging a soundtrack of pretty much every Falcom game and use it in some way or another. There's some fucking awesome music in there. And not just this game, mind you. Actually, you know, when we play at some point the next part of the Trail series, I really have to, you know, focus on not just doing what I do now, just holding the hands, sitting back and going like, but that's a nice melody, I enjoy it. Which is a very good sign, mind you. I never get tired of mentioning this, but the older I got, the more impactful I found music to be. Especially in games. When it comes to this, you know, these Japanese do have a fucking good soundtrack. Lots of types. Heck, even in RPG Maker games, I sometimes, when they don't use just the standard music, which, you know, gets the job done, but it's kinda mediocre at best, I'd say. Sometimes you just, you know, you play some unknown, random fucking RPG Maker game and you're sitting there like, wait a second. That music's fucking awesome. Yes, Shurino, an acolyte of the Shaolemon Shrine. And as soon as we get some actual playing on, I'm going to explain to you a bit more about what is actually going on here. Because you see, this is one of the few games that actually allows me to not read you every line of text, and instead give you the Reader's Digest version in quick. Because now. I do love this though. I mean, he's trying to be polite here, pretty damn obvious. He's like, your fighting style is skilled and graceful, and I'm like, bitch please. Unica is using a giant axe. That's not lending itself well to graceful fighting. It lends itself well to hacking and slashing now. Yes, indeed, our poor little transport spell, was interrupted. Now maybe, and this is a bit of advice for the future I would give, if you're using a transportation spell, how about you don't, use one that makes you look like a giant glowing ball of gold descending from the heavens. The demons might be somewhat capable of seeing that. And they might just, decide that, sending a giant army of tentacles your way might be an option. For some reason. Indeed, and so everybody was screwing all over the place, which doesn't really matter much because, well, at this point in time on the ground, at least in this particular landmass, there is literally no bigger landmark than the fucking tower we're in right now. For now. For what reason? It's like as the demons hate us, we had to flee to the high heavens from them. Why would the demons shoot us down though? Oh, mysterious, isn't it? Yes, a giant tree told us. And in this universe, that is not a sign of somebody being so fucking high as a kite on some mushrooms, and you might believe it be. After all, it's a universe of magic. Spellcasting, sword mastery, well, axe mastery, I suppose. Yes, bring all the people in. Then again, we could probably just wait it out, because every last one of them will find their way here. Yes, what do you want from me? Yeah, but we don't want to be here. We want to go. We want to explore. Yes, exploration, please. Yes, give me stools. Yep. That's a good melody, isn't it? For finding an item. It might even remind you somewhat of another game that had a tendency to play a little tune whenever you picked up an item. And, fair enough, it was once, in the days of its origins, a direct competition. Ah, we purified it. But we'll talk about it later, as I said, Once we're out of the intro era, we'll have a lot of time to actually, talk about a lot of things, because, well, gameplay will be a lot. And it is good for this particular case. Also, I've kinda allotted the time for this particular little side project of mine called Geese. That's how I named the file, most fittingly. And for the moment, the plan actually goes not farther than, this one and 1 and 2, basically. An allotted total time frame of about 50 hours. As well, I'm assuming around 10 hours per character this one, and around 10 hours at worst for East 1 and another 10 for East 2. Maybe a bit more, depending on how long I'm gonna take on that particular boss fight. Actually, 2 particular boss fights that I see in my future that might be a bit annoying. Alright, so these are not in origin. Yes, I shall call you up on the shelf because, you know, magic. I've now got a magic smartphone. Well, not so much a smartphone as more than a phone in general, but yeah, that works. Oh, I will return to this particular point. Why, you might wonder, I will return to this particular point? Well, because this is gonna be where we'll do our upgrades and shit. With that, you're basically, no. Left to run free. Of course, you know, there's a story going on here, rather obviously. Game kinda... Which one is the button for... Who puts the menu button on the... fucking R3? That doesn't really matter. Yeah, there you can actually see the save game for each one of these little bastards. Probably gonna overwrite them just as they are. Actually, now I can see the playtime. See, for my first run with Unica, it took roughly, if you round up, 6 hours. Then 6.5 for Hugo, and 5.5 only for, are you Tova? Is your name Tova? Tova? Claw. Let's just call him Claw. What will you do? Accept the divine blessing. Please select a blessing. Robert. Actually, I can. Yeah, I still have 30,000, don't I? So I can probably get something already. What is good to get first? I don't fucking remember. Jesus. That's not that good. Reduce, that's actually pretty good. Stun effect. XP gain sounds like a very good idea to get first. Accept the splashing, yes. Increase drop it, I can't afford that. Reduce bad status duration, that is good. There's some bad status that you kinda wanna not deal with. Can't really afford the second level. Increase effect of herbs, don't really need it. Actually a good idea that I started, also yeah, that too. Actually a good idea that we started on one of the easier difficulties. Gives me a bit of time to actually get back into the swing of things. Now if I play on my very own and lonesome, that's something I can do just like that, but if I try to also, well, somewhat stay talking, that kind of slows down the process, so I do like, you know, legendary armor, why not? That one we're gonna get very, very late. It's really not that useful. Just beat something up and get some healing items is a lot better. Damage from terrain, that would be something I kinda wanna get as well. And since I do still have many SP just lying around. How much do I left? 5,900. What do you need that? It's a bit pricey. It's a bit. Yeah, the rest is pretty pricey. But yes. I don't know where to even start. Well, let's start by the beginning. And point him out. Nice and easily the origins. Origins. Of this particular little series. Which is of course Ys 1 and 2. Which I believe came out so long ago I don't even remember exactly when. And for basically a bit of a competition, yeah? One could say, for the same market as the older Zelda was. With a very different combat system, mind you. A combat system we will get intimately familiar with when we actually play those games. But until then, we'll play this game. This game is actually a bit of a unique case. Came out reasonably long time after the original ones, and as the name Origins kind of implies, it is actually set up before the events of the first Ys game. Meaning there's no adult Christian. I mean, you can unlock him, I think, if you collect enough points, but you cannot use him in the story, and he has no place in the story. This is like, what, 700 or so years before the events of Ys 1 and 2, where we get introduced to a little adventurer boy. Only to then see him rise towards becoming the greatest adventurer of them all. You know, it'll be kinda strange to have him running around here. I wouldn't put it behind or below or, you know, above him. Yes, it's one of the holy artifacts. It allows you to lose a special ability. The Cerulean Flabellum. And with that, I have the whirlwind skill now. And now. And that's how I do this. Can I not charge this fully? No. Okay. It's an important ability because it allows you to glide in the air. And since you know this is most definitively a good old-fashioned action RPG style game, you will need to do some platforming. That is not something that you can avoid. It's in the name. Oh well, it is the name of the game basically. But yes. Now the story for this one is actually relatively simply set, you know, we're on a particular landmass, so, you know, the people lived there, were happy, all was good. Then they discovered shit, a specific metal, and used that to grade and improve their civilization evermore until, well, demons came. Happens sometimes, you know, quite often actually, when you think about it. And since humanity, apparently with all of their powers combined, still weren't capable of fucking dealing with the demons, they decided to do the only, you know, reasonable thing, namely fucking off right into the heavens by lifting an island towards the sky. Solomon Island. Solomon Shrine. No, yeah, Solomon Shrine on the island of Ys. Is it the island of Ys? Is it called that yet? I don't even know. It's been a while since I played this, let's just say. But yeah, so humanity fucked off, and you know, humanity also has twin goddesses, which I find a lot more believable than having just, you know, one sky daddy. Instead, you know, can have two winged goddesses. I'm all for that. Quite in favor. And their greatest jewel, or so the story goes. A black pearl. And then one day, as we have been told, the poor high priests, and there are 6 of them, realized that the goddesses were gone. Literally gone. From their nice little perch in the tower. Well, not in the tower, in the Shrine of Solomon. And since, you know, they couldn't find them on the island, the only other place they could have gone, rather obviously, would have been the ground. Place filled with miasma and all of the other nonsense that makes you really not want to be there. And so we sent our little search party down. Now, of course, since our search party was clever enough to use a fucking spell that is, quite easily seeable from like a few 100,000 kilometers away, the demons immediately launched their good old-fashioned anti-air magic. Or, well, yeah, they basically had a SAM-site set up. It's a magic SAM-site though. It shoots tentacles. Rocket Symbol is more likely. Yeah. And as such, we have landed outside the tower, met with the Rotor Tree. Now we are on a search through this giant tower, and you will see a certain scene here when we play the next game, that giant towers is absolutely a Ys thing that they really love to do, because it's the classic adventure idea. You have like 50 floors or so to go through, here, go, have fun. Honestly, it's not a bad formula. But yes, our twin goddesses, Ria and Fina, have well, taken the Black Pearl, a rather important piece of equipment on the Flying Island, because I'm pretty sure that thing is somewhat responsible for powering said Flying Island, and decided to go down to the ground. And, well, according to the Rotor Tree, they are in this tower. A tower built by the demons specifically to reach the island and fuck over the rest of humanity. And at this point in time, nobody knows why they would do that. Why would the goddesses do that? Well, I don't know. I'm not gonna claim I don't know. I'm not gonna spoil it for you in case you haven't seen it yet, so, you know. As I said, this game has the nice fact that, you know, a lot of it is actually like this. A lot of it's just gameplay. You know, we run around, beat shit up, level up, collect materials in SP, which allows me, of course, to ramble most profoundly. A reward. Now, they actually do have a good reason for doing it, but as I said, you know, it would be kind of bad manners, honestly, for me to just spoil it. But hey, maybe you see this, you might even think to yourself, okay, I'm gonna give it a try myself, play along or something. Pretty sure these games, at least the old ones, are bloody cheap at this point. And they're all on Steam. The only one I wouldn't recommend immediately would be Ark of Napishtim? Napishtim? Something like that. Ark of Napi. As long as you read Ys at Ark, that's the one you might wanna not necessarily skip, but you want to develop a certain amount of love for the series first before you play that one. It will test your patience. Now, the interesting thing about this, and if you play the original first and second one before you this, they're already great, but this is basically what you can expect from Falcom. A simple, solid game system in a Ys game. A system that just gets the work done. Reminiscence of the olden days, you know, where you literally could play a game with 3 buttons. And, well, a very nice soundtrack to go with it. To make you not get bored. Or something. But yeah, in very general terms, it's just a nice, simple game. Especially in our modern world where it quite often does feel like, although even that is kinda lacking these days. A few years ago I would still claim that, you know, there was quite a bit of graphic whoring going on. Nowadays even that kinda lacks. Die, evil monster! Die! Yeah. But yeah. As you could see on my save game before I wrote it, it's basically the sort of game that is really good as a nice little snack game, as I like to call them. Basically the sort of game that you will really enjoy when you have a very busy schedule and not really that much time to play games. And you need something that you can just go in, play for a little bit, go out again. Then, yeah, a game like this is pretty much the ideal for you. Because this game and its brothers and sisters in the same series do lend themselves very, very well to that. Because as I said, you know, if the Legend of Heroes series is basically Falcom's main heavy-hitting story game, then the series is by comparison the far more lightweight one. You could make a comparison to 2 meal basically. This is quite literally a snack. A good snack, a very tasty snack, mind you, but it is just that. While the Legend of Heroes games are by far more of a, well, a full course dinner. Whee! I will miss these graphics once we actually reach the first one. Because that one still has, of course, very much the look of the olden times to it, but also has a very fun combat system. I'll tell you that much. And of course, there are lots of little fun things. And there are actually little, Easter eggs in both Legend of Hero titles and these games towards each other. Which does make it a lot of fun. Oh god, yeah, I can't understand you because you're speaking demon! Looks at cute little demon goes like, why do I find you cute and not dangerous? Well, because he doesn't look dangerous now. I think there was actually a way to make this readable, wasn't there? I think the claw can actually understand the rules because he can speak demon, I think. Does the eye work on them? I don't remember. Because of course, you know, all of this actually translates to actual text. Because he's having a conversation with you. And they would ask me how he has a conversation with you. Yes, he's hungry. He wants a food. Actually, I think they speak really swollen and shit. Of course, we're going to give it a Rhoda fruit. What monster wouldn't? It's kind of like with a fox. Yes, it's Claria ore. It's a very special ore that humanity found and used to create awesome stuff and awesome weapons, and dig ever deeper for it. Because, you know, humanity. We seem to be... Actually, yeah, we are pretty much the root cause of every problem ever. Think about it. Humanity's great. Ah, yes, yes. Little creature, little creature, you be cute. I also go, oh yeah, right, foxes. And the age-old debate, you know, if memory serves, the foxes are they part? Yes, I'm pretty sure they're part of the canine genus. The canine genus. Meaning they're actually closer related to dogs, but from the looks of it, they do have a lot of cat-like features. Yeah, that was what I was looking for. It was kind of like, nice little in-between. We're also kind of like that too. I kind of like, at the early game, it's not a bad idea to level up a little bit. Also collecting some more SP. But yeah, as you can tell, this is basically the core of the gameplay. You get a few more abilities along the way, a few more variety, but it's basically a very classical action RPG. Just comparatively speaking, you could say this is basically not that different to, for example, a God of War game. I don't know about the new ones, but at least like the old ones. Just, you know, with a lot more of an anime touch to it. Which of course, you know, I do highly appreciate. Doesn't mean that I don't appreciate God of War games. As well, but, you know... reminds me of the olden days, you know, when I was still a very young one. I was starting to get into games and anime. I still remember my father going like, yes, you know, when you grow older, you'll grow out of that. And now I'm fucking old and still I'm like, well, that didn't happen, or did it? I mean, it doesn't mean that I haven't changed, you know, from my wee old days. Developed a taste for some of the good old-fashioned liquors and shit. That whole smoking thing also is probably a rather obvious result of my growing older. But some things just stayed. In fact, they have stayed forever. And I don't think they will change anytime soon. If I haven't managed to, you know... The weep old days. Indeed, my weep old days. The old weep days. And I was just a wee little weep. Starting out all innocently on good shit. Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Ranma. Wasn't too much into Inuyasha. And all other stuff as well. Then I developed a habit for going for the, you know, not so popular shit, and then everything was basically gone. Then I discovered that, you know, in games as well, you get stuff like this. To be fair, you know, I had the most ideal situation to grow into fledged a gamer slash weep slash whatever the fuck you wanna call it. People always seem to feel the need to develop new words for that, but at the end of the day now. An intense penury, yes. See, now I created a word myself. The fact that I can actually talk that much and still get progress in this game going does show that I played through this quite intensely. Look, it's people, and they're not part of our little group. Of course. Unica, being the good mannered little girl, was like, excuse me? Total strangers who are armed. That's mad. This place is dangerous. You should probably go away. Actually, what was your name again? I suck at remembering names, I have to admit. Princess of the Holy Knights of Ys. Because you see, these people are actually kind of right. The people that managed to go up on the island of Ys and raise into the sky are a bit simple-minded. Because in their idea, you know, everyone who didn't make it on the island pretty much died. They did not even consider the fact that, you know, there might be other land masses with other people on it. Don't even know what to call that sort of worldview. Not necessarily racism, mind you, but yeah, they did kind of think of themselves as a bit of a, how to put this, the chosen people, like we're the only people around. And I do know the direction we're going in. They're gonna summon a demon now. Because their orders are pretty clear. Capture Yegotis, not everyone else. Or that there might actually be people who actually now not live alongside, but learn to deal with the demons. They never considered that. After all, they were the ones finding the Claria ore, they were the ones doing all the good things. Ah, no! Ah, this gives me nightmares of these ones. You even. Ouch. Can't catch me. Okay, you can catch me with that, fair enough. Imperialistic. Yeah, that might actually be a good way. They were really thinking in a very imperialistic way. Turn that bitch. Don't get caught by the bats because you can't. Ah, shit, I forgot. You can do that. See, because you can't do any damage to the fucking bats. But they can do damage to you. I mean, it's a tutorial boss, more or less. This should be rather obvious by his little health. Jesus. Give me a second, I need a bit of water. But to be fair, you know, you can't really blame Unica for that. Many people deserve because we were the better ones, civilized ones, not the ones. To be fair, though, you know, that's something I think it's always kind of get forgotten in time. Impressions matter. First impressions matter as well, especially for humans. We have a tendency to be very much slaves to our first impressions, to a certain degree at least. That can be overwritten, but that takes a lot of time and work. Now, if you are some European, you come from, let's say, Spain, you arrive in fucking a ship of the line with dozens of cannons that can do horrible damages. You come equipped with rifles that can shoot an enemy so far out of the range of any melee weapon it's not even funny. And then you arrive on the continent of Africa and you see people living in little mud huts where you're used to brick houses, dirt roads where you now have asphalt streets basically, and using with wooden shields and spears. Yeah, you might look at that and go like, bloody savages. I know, it's not like you can actually, you know, just take the person and go like, how could they ever reach that sort of conclusion? No, it's pretty damn fucking obvious how they could reach that conclusion. That's a bit of an oversimplification there. The Zulu, my friend, they do have their little great story, but at the end of the day, the English still got their way, most definitively. And to be fair, you know, for all the evils of colonialism and nonsense, it also was the English who then spent decades and an astonishing amount of money on ending the slave trade. On humanitarian grounds. Well, no, it's not like the English are just bad people in that particular regard. Not that that seems to be in anyone's memory any longer, because nowadays people are just like, nah, yeah, it was all bad. Which completely ignores, of course, the simple fact that the zeitgeist was very different, and the impression the people got once they arrived was pretty predetermined, honestly. Also, if memory serves, and it was it the Prusso-Franco War? I'm pretty sure it was the Prusso-Franco War, yes, pretty damn sure. where the basically the pike and shot era was coming along. Where the fuck was I going? I was going somewhere, just don't remember. And actually, I'm pretty sure it was the Dutch. Shit, I forgot I can't double jump now. It was the fault of the Dutch, actually, Dutch strategists, that rediscovered all of that shit that the, you know, ancient Romans and shit did, you know, like military training, professional armies and shit like that, and brought that back onto the playing field, and by that creating the superiority that the Europeans then used to capture, well, the whole fucking world. Literally. Europe ruled supreme over everything. There was not a shore that we weren't on, there was not a bloody fucking country that wasn't fearing us, because everybody still thought, like they did throughout all of the fucking Middle Ages, or, well, the Antique, basically, because things hadn't changed. Yeah, how the fuck do I solve that? And all of that, you know, you could make an argument here that it was all the fault of the Dutch people. You know, that's not... first we need to find a solution to that. Shit, I can't see enemies with that on. I can't see enemies with that on. I forgot. So, you know, basically, if the Dutch people, or, well, no, the Dutch military at the time didn't get so invested into fucking ancient tactics, the pike and shot era wouldn't have happened, and, you know, Europe wouldn't have ruled that fucking supreme over everyone, because that is kind of what that is. But is that really worse? There's always going to be some form of hegemon going around. I don't think Europe did that bad of a job. I mean, you know, the world was literally their oyster. They could take whatever they want. Literally. But damn it, fucking bad. Stay still. Yes, but they were tried in the Franco War, and well, proved quite sufficient. It also led to the idea that you needed to be the one to mobilize first, which later on led to the First World War kicking off as it did, because the idea was that you just needed to be the first to... There it is. Get just shut down, get the enemy shut down, basically, while they are still in the process of mobilization. Pretty cool stuff. History really is one very interesting story to go through. I cannot lie. Yeah, that basically, you know, you have the pike and shot era, where people realized, okay, with modern tactics, or quote-unquote modern tactics, you know, by revising the old tactics, by actually introducing math into our formations, into our training, you know, introducing concepts like, you know, a combat whiff, for example. That leads to the idea that, okay, that is all nice and dandy, but that also means we need to be the ones who mobilize first, you know, that came a bit later. And that sort of mindset that we need to mobilize first, ideally we mobilize before the enemy even starts realizing what's going on. We get in there, we block their access to trains and shit, so they cannot actually mobilize reasonably. We win. That kind of then leads towards, well, you know, kicking off the First World War, where everybody was immediately trying to go for gold, basically. It's really interesting how that all plays into each other, you know. You have to really go back in history, and, you know, if you go even further back, that means without the Romans and their professional armies, we never would have been able to combine that with the modern armaments. Really cool. The pike and shot era is really underestimated, honestly. There's a lot to read there. Really cool shit. Indeed, we probably would have looked somewhere else. You could, in the broader terms, although to be fair to the Romans, since the Romans literally conquered at least half the world in their name, it was just easier to find writings of them. Literally, they found, like, what was it, 2 or 3 training manuals for the army, and that just was golden. Once they realized, wait a second. an army can use math. They were like, oh, big brain moment here, I can use that. I can fucking use that, and they fucking did. And oh boy, did the rest of the world pay the price for that. And who were the driving force of that? Well, actually, as I said before, I'm bad with names, but I do have 2 books dealing with this particular matter right there in my bookshelf. And I read those books a few times. Really, really great. Bloody Dutch, though. You always underestimate them. You're like, they're just a nice little coastal, you know, swamp German kind of thing. But no, the Dutch had some crazy ideas in their time. Jesus Christ, did those ideas go far. I mean, literally, there are reports later on when England began to, you know, build itself up to be the world power, yeah? You literally had English commanders who went into battle against like 10,000 Chinese soldiers with like 300-400 units, people, and won. And that was the norm. Yeah? It was unimaginable to field such a large army as the enemy, because that would be, you know, absolutely distasteful. But they needed it. You quite literally could win a battle with unbelievable numerical odds against you. Damn. And from there, you know, it really didn't take long for the rest of Europe to realize, oh shit, we are in the position of absolute power here. We can literally overrun whatever we... They cannot fight back in any way, shape, or form. If they don't give up, we just slaughter them by the dozens. And that is precisely what happens. And they're slaughtered by the dozens. Ah, such a giant shit show, I tell ya. But also one that absolutely determined how the modern age would come about. It wasn't the Chinese. It wasn't the African nations. It most definitely weren't the fucking Americans who weren't around at that point yet, because, you know, the point were still just colonies. A bit more technical advance, I thought one thing. The rest of the dimensions, I've never used them together. They had a very, very basic thing. I mean, Rome's fall was kind of predetermined. There were just too many factors that would play together to bring Rome down, and I don't think that would have been something to stop. I mean, the Eastern Roman Empire was around, like, what? Basically throughout the better part of the fucking medieval ages before it finally completely died down and died out. It was again like 700, 800 AD or whatever the fuck. And I think some splinters of them even survived longer, so, you know, yeah, Rome would have inevitably fell to its own arrogance. They had not really a system to rule the world, and they tried to rule the world. They got pretty damn far, but they never changed their core values, and I don't think Rome would have ever changed its core values. They were the values that made them big. Why would they change that? Even if those would not work at the size they were aiming at. But yeah, that's crazy. The Roman Empire. It's something I do sometimes find myself thinking about, because it is still quite a wondrous thing, you know. They took a lot of political inspiration to, they went through different political systems, you know, from empire to republic and shit. There's really a lot to learn there, and from them. And of course, you know, the technological advances, like, you know, just take their fucking aqueducts and shit. That alone is something that in the fucking Dark Ages, the darkest of Middle Ages, nobody could even imagine. Crazy. But amazing. Of course, let's not forget the other big ones, you know. The Greece city-states as well. Very interesting for their tries in different fields. Of course, Macedonian spear formations also not something you should just overlook. There's great stuff. Probably one of the reasons why I do like history. There's a lot of great things to look into and be amazed by. Things that you, okay, nowadays you would be like, okay, that's pretty damn simple stuff. When you really think about it, it's not. Kinda, but honestly, it's actually one of the more interesting parts. The one that actually claimed and had the military power to claim the titles of Rome was later on the Holy Roman Empire, which, fittingly named. Because they kinda did that whole spiel where they actually got the Pope as the highest authority to basically grant them the right. And everybody wanted that right, because to be the successor of Rome meant that you had right to all of the titles, basically, of half the world. You could literally claim that half the world belongs to you because, you are the successor of Rome. Everybody tried, but only one had the power to actually get it done. So we get to the Holy Roman Empire. The HRE. Of course, it's also, correctly speaking, the Holy Roman Empire and of German unity, but the last part kind of gets forgotten. That's what happens when you actually have the power to get things done. Which is, of course, still pretty damn ironic, because the Pope would not actually have the power or the right even to give out such a title, as the Pope was quite literally installed by the Romans. So he is kind of an underling of the Romans. You can't just give to an underling and go like, give me all the titles of your lord. That's how that works. If you have enough military power, no one's gonna question you. Really not. Receive the blue necklace. It's a necklace. That's great though. I could probably literally do a whole stream just, taking a book, taking some passages from it, talking about said passages, debating them. I really need to get used to that as there. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what I need to do now. Sorry, I was a bit confused for a second. Up here, little thing. I mean, come on. It's not like the HRE creation story went any different. They were quickly like, okay, listen, Pope guy, listen well. We've got power, literally. You've got one particular choice to make here, and that is to say yes and amen. And make us holy. Hey, it worked. Get all that matters. Now we need to equip that, because that will allow me to avoid getting sucked in. Because without that you automatically get sucked in and then we land back in that other area. And we don't want to go into that other area. See? That's the great about a game like this. You have a lot of time to just ramble about things because, well, not really that much going on. Although I do feel I'll probably have to go and run to the toilet. Well. To be fair, Italy. Yeah, in the broadest sense, Italy. Ever since the disappearance of the actual Romans, has kinda been a basically one shit show after the other. While the papal states themselves, as a city-state, have been some of the more protected ones, obviously, for good reasons. But Italy as a whole has gone through. Let's just say it has never been as unified as during the Roman era. You see this all the way back into where we were just recently, in the Renaissance, where literally the city-states were basically at constant war with each other. Of course, there was also then intervention from the outside, like when the Spaniards came, or when the English king came and claimed some territory, and nobody could actually do anything about it because they had actually professional armies and money. The city-states had mercenaries for the most part, which pretty horrible idea, comparatively speaking. But yeah, it took quite a while for Italy to unify again, and even nowadays, if you take it a bit of a broad-minded view, then the Papal States are still somewhat in a very special position inside Rome and its surrounding territories. Kinda interesting. Kinda interesting indeed. Ah, yeah, I remember you. You're annoying, aren't you? Well, of course they have. And that's pretty much true for any country of given size that has unified at some point. Like Germany. We have quite the divide between the north and the south still, because technically speaking, the southern side, before we unified into what was later Germany, was of course led by the Bavarians in their southern union, while the north under Bismarck and its northern German union, they were pretty much at odds. And once Bismarck managed to outwit the other side enough and unified, there still was a bit of contrarian positions, basically. And all the way up to today, the Bavarians still somewhat are kinda considering themselves the special chosen people of Germany. Well, they bloody bastards can't even speak properly. But alas, you know, a bit of inter-German hate has never hurt anyone. Yes. As I said before, you know, that is not that uncommon, even nowadays, you know, even in Germany, the way jobs are given or the way certain education achievements are looked upon, depending on where you get them, will lead to different results. So yeah, that's pretty normal, you know. And people are generally speaking not really unifiable. We will always draw borders. I don't just mean nation borders, we draw borders up amongst our communities, you know. Might not be that obvious any longer, because, you know, nowadays nobody has a community with their neighbors, for example, and so you don't have the village community, unless you actually live in a village, that is. Where that is still very much a thing, and where one village can very much hate the next village over for reasons that have probably been forgotten, like, you know, 50 years or so. But yeah. People are strange like that. That doesn't mean that we can't get along quite splendidly, honestly. Just that is also very much so part of our nature, you could say. As I said, people are strange. It's like with that whole first impression thing. First impressions are absolutely impactful for humans. Very much so. That means, you know, somebody gave a bad first impression, and, you know, even if he then acts very, very prudent for a long time, as soon as he makes the slightest mistake, your brain will be like, aha, I knew he would do that. I expected he would do that. On the other side, if you have a very positive first impression of someone, and, you know, even he then turns out to act in a not so well and good manner, your brain will be like, nah, this must be the exception to the rule, that this must be not his normal state. Because, you know, the same with how our brain likes samey things, which is a pretty important thing when it comes, for example, to jobs and interviews and such, you know. If you come from a very different background, and it's, of course, you look different, that's already a minus. If you have a very different sounding name, that's already a minus. You start ever harder, and have to convince them ever harder, and the further away you are from what they are. The closer you are, however, the easier it is to at least overcome those. Because that's just how humans are wired, basically. We have a tendency to like what is like us. And of course, a bit of an oversimplification, because a lot of other factors also play in that, like the halo effect and other things that kind of determine how we see other people and what expectations we have of other people and how that influence our decision, specifically when we hire people, why we hire specific people. kind of thing you learn when you try to get a bit more educated in the field. Not bad, but it's indeed something to keep in mind, I would say. Very much so interesting how humanity works to a certain degree. Of course, if you apply that as well, it once again lends further credence, of course, to the days of colonialism. And people going like, no, I would never act like this. Well, you know, maybe not precisely, because the rules have changed a bit, but generally speaking, you know, you too will find yourself be influenced by the way your brain works. Also, we'll hear this melody for the rest of this particular stage, because the tower is basically set up as different stages, and so the next stage will look very different and give you different music. Die you bloody shield boys! I remember not liking those because they really slow you down. You know, using their shields, which is like, duh, I do that too. Okay, let's clear this room, and then I'll quickly take a little run to the bathroom and probably get myself another coffee. Or maybe. I think I can handle one more. But yeah, see, this is why I do like to play games that do allow me to be a bit more rambly. Leisure boots. Equip leather boots. God damn it. I know there's a double jump in this game. That means my brain is like, oh, I just clicked the double jump. Which doesn't work, obviously. Is that the end of the room? Yes, it is. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here on this little platform, kill this guy again. Bam, 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 bam. Go to the menu, that's even better.